PC welcomes the presser to introduce our guest. For this day, we have PCOO Assistant Secretary Ana Marie Rafael. Good morning,
Good morning,
Asik.
Alvin. Good morning, our friends from the MPC and foreign media correspondents. Thank you for your presence. Welcome to Real Numbers PH updates and the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs updates. Joining us this morning is none other than the only chair of the ICAD, Director General DG Aquino, and PNP Spokesperson General Bernard Banac, and PDEA Spokesperson Director Derek Carion. Magandang umaga po.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of our Director General and the Chairman of the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs, we would like to present the social cards, updated social cards for Real Numbers PH. From July 1, 2016 to November 30, 2019, a total of 151,601 anti-drug operations were conducted by the PDEA, the Philippine National Police, and other law enforcement agencies nationwide, which resulted in the arrest of 220,728 drug personalities, and 5,552 drug personalities were recorded casualties on the same period. For dismantled clandestine laboratories and drug dens, in pursuit of the government's efforts to destroy the sources of illegal drugs, PDEA and other law enforcement agencies had dismantled a total of 14 illegal drug manufacturing labs, or that is drug laboratories, drug dens, which serve as one-stop shops for sellers and buyers of illegal drugs, were also targeted by law enforcement agencies. As a result, during the period, 419 drug dens nationwide were dismantled by law enforcement authorities. A total of 40.39 billion pesos worth of illegal drugs were seized for the period. And for the same period, 5,182.52 kilograms of shabu worth 31.25 billion pesos were seized by PDEA and other law enforcement agencies nationwide. For one of the flagship programs of the ICAD and the anti-drug campaign, in the Barangay Drug Clearing Program, as of November 30, 2019, 16,706 barangays were cleared, while 17,175 barangays are yet to be cleared. We turn you over to the Philippine National Police for the remaining social cards, sir.
In line with the President's thrust of cleansing the bureaucracy from corrupt public servants, law enforcement operations were launched against high-value targets. A total of 726 government workers, including 347 government employees, 297 elected officials, and 82 uniformed personnel were arrested for violation of Republic Act 9165 on minors involved in illegal drug activities. Since President Duterte's administration, a total of 2,799 minors involved in illegal drug activities were rescued during anti-drug operations conducted by authorities nationwide. These children were turned over to the local social welfare offices. On high-value targets, a total of 8,185 high-value targets were arrested for the period, composed of 222 foreign nationals, 297 elected officials, 82 uniformed personnel, 347 government employees, 725 drug group leaders or members, 2,290 target-listed personalities, 57 armed group members, 813 drug den maintainers, 191 wanted listed personalities, 10 celebrities or prominent personalities, and 3,151 personalities arrested from these high-impact operations. On surrenderers, for the Reformation Program, a total of 485,295 surrenderers have benefited from the Recovery and Wellness Program initiated by the PNP and other supportive community reformation centers, including Bahay Silangan Reformation Centers with 965 beneficiaries. So all these are the accomplishments for the period 2016 to 2019.
Maraming salamat, General Banac, ASEC Marie, General Aquino, and Sir Derek. MPC question, Ate Rose.
Hi sir, good morning kay DG Aquino. Sir, ano na po yung update dun sa involvement ng matataas na opisyal ng PDEA dun sa paglusot ng 6.4 billion shabu po sa Bureau of Customs? Sila Fajardo po, ano po yung update sa kaso nila?
Well, nalabas na naman sila ng warrant of arrest at this time. And we have coordinated with the Philippine National Police and other law enforcement agencies for their arrest. And so far, wala pa naman updates with regard to their whereabouts. But information we are receiving that they are going out of the country by backdoor. So we are also coordinating with our armed forces of the Philippines to check our coastlines and other areas, particularly on the south portion of the country, to determine if that is true or not.
So, kailan po nilabas yung warrant of arrest?
I don't have an exact date right now, but immediately after we filed the case, a month after, lumabas yung warrants ng dalawa. And hopefully in due time ma-aresto yung dalawang personality na ito.
So, may ino-offer po kayong reward para sa pagkaka-aresto nila?
Wala naman so far at this time na ino-offer ang government natin or even law enforcement agencies for a particular reward for the arrest of the two. But we all know that the PNP are there and they are everywhere to determine kung saan itong dalawa na ito.
Thank you, sir. Sir, isa pa?
Yeah.
Sir, ano po yung nangyari dun sa nag-appeal po ba yung PDEA dun sa dismissal nung sa kaso ng anak ni Yuyukla, yung nahuli rito sa Malacañang complex? Nakapag-appeal po ba kayo kasi di ba na-dismiss ng court yung kaso niya?
There are high-profile cases now na file ng PDEA that are being dismissed, and we are looking into that. I've talked with my legal team already, and we are doing all our efforts para mabigyan ng solusyon ito. Definitely, we will appeal on this.
So, hindi pa po naisampay yung appeal?
I think my legal team have already done that.
Pero andito pa po yung subject? Nasa Pilipinas pa po yung subject, yung anak ni Yuyuklay?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So, pwede ho ba yung tawag dito, HDO? Hindi. Hold departure order? Or watch list?
Nung may kaso siya, may whole departure order, definitely. But at this time, we will coordinate with the Bureau of Immigration about that.
So, wala pa ko yung info kung andito pa siya or nakaalis na?
Sa ngayon, wala kaming information regarding that.
Sir, parang natandaan ko kasi noon parang meron kayong statement na parang may tumawag sa inyo na isang opisyal immediately after maaresto yung drug princess ang tawag sa kanya, di ba? Totoo ho ba yun na may tumawag sa inyong isang opisyal?
Hindi ganon. Ang sinabi ko noon, nung nahuli namin si si Yuyuklay, may isang mataas na tao ang tumawag kay Yuyuklay, asking some favors regarding doon sa anak niya.
Pwede niyo pong banggitin kung sino yon?
I tried to ask kung sino may-ari ng cellphone na ginamit. I was able to determine pero hindi niya inaamin na nangyari yon. So hindi ko ma-pursue yung ano na yun, yung kaso na yun.
Pero yung number po ng taong tumawag, number niya talaga yon.
Hindi.
Hindi. So, pwedeng gumamit din siya na iba?
That's right. Ibang number ang ginamit niya.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Probably prepaid number ang ginamit niya.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ate Rose. Maraming salamat, General Aquino. Joyce? Mike, please.
Good morning, sirs and ma'am. Sir, ito pong binigay niyo sa amin ay accomplishments po. So, how would you compare this with the overall target, vis-a-vis the target of the administration? For example, based on our intelligence information, on our target persons, narco list, ilang percent of our total or overall target itong accomplishments natin? Are we halfway, more than halfway?
Ang parameters namin is on the drug clearing efforts on the barangay. Based doon sa presentation kanina, more than 16,700 ang cleared na ng barangay and about 17,000 plus is yet to be cleared. So when we get a percentage, it's about maybe about 55%. Am I correct? Yung
55%.
drug cleared barangay na tayo.
Of all barangays in the
Yes.
country?
So I guess we are over halfway on our target para ma-clear ang barangay by 2022. And we are still crossing our fingers. By 22 we can accomplish to clear all barangays of drugs.
And you think, sir, it's doable to achieve 100% cleared barangays before the end of the president's term?
Yes, it's doable, but yung challenge is so high because the remaining barangays are mostly the most notorious barangays in terms of drug affectations. So yun ang magiging challenge ng mga law enforcement agencies on how to clear the remaining barangays.
And sir, what are your concrete plans to make sure this will be achievable?
Meron kaming targets sa PDEA na every month, every quarter na we need to comply with. So yung mga barangay regional directors ko sa mga regional level are being monitored if they are committing with their assigned targets every month.
Okay. Sir, in a short time when VP Robredo was part of the ICAD, how was she able to contribute to these numbers na you mentioned, sir? Was there any significant increase or change in the number when she was there in ICAD?
In terms of law enforcement, I guess none. Kasi hindi naman talaga na-involve ang ating Vice President in terms of law enforcement. She did not in any way supervise our people down there in the fields. So I guess wala namang nabago o wala namang dapat glaring issues na makikita natin na talagang sabihin natin bumababa ang krimen o bumababa ang accomplishment natin sa illegal drugs or not. But I would just like to give you some briefing on what really happened on ICAD. So it started on November 6 when the President appoints our VP to be my co-chair in ICAD. And on November 7, I wrote a letter to Malacañang asking the President's guidance. What is the actual responsibility or the scope of authority of the Vice President as my co-chair in ICAD? Kasi even the Vice President during the time doesn't even know what is her obligation. In fact, sinasabi niya sa akin during a closed-door meeting before the ICAD meeting with her, na sabi niya, DG, hindi ko alam kung anong tatrabahuhin ko rito sa ICAD. Hindi ko alam kung ano magiging specific na function ko. So that's the reason why I wrote. But before she said that, nakasulat na ako sa Malacañang and the Department of Justice to give me the functions, kung ano magiging responsibility ng Vice President. And then on November 8, that is our first Mother ICAD meeting. And it's as I've said, that is just a listening exercise for the Vice President to hear all the 4 clusters who briefed her during the time. And after the meeting, sinabihan ko ang Vice President natin. Sabi ko, Ma'am, meet the 4 clusters, the law enforcement, the advocacy, the justice, and the rehabilitation and reintegration clusters. Because if you meet them, you will know everything about illegal drugs. Somehow you will know exactly what's the total picture of the drug situation in our country. So sabi niya, of course, I would happy to meet them, and I would like to meet the law enforcement cluster first. Kaya after a few days, minute niya yung law enforcement cluster. And doon na lumabas that prior to the meeting, she is asking for the list of high-value targets. And during that time, marinig nyo naman na sinabi ko na I would be gladly to show her the list in a closed-door meeting. I myself, I don't have the list. Any members of the ICAN don't have the list. So when she met before meeting the Dangerous Drugs Board, inimbitahan ko ang Vice President natin for a very, very short meeting with her sa PDEA. So, bago siya pumunta sa Dangerous Drugs Board, nag-drop by siya sa PDEA. And sinabi ko sa kanya, Ma'am, I'm taking 2 things this morning to you. Number 1, I would explain to you why China, as you have said in your interview, that China, the main drugs are coming from mainly in China. And number 2, I will show you the high-value targets, the list of high-value targets. But she refused. She refused to be briefed on why, sabi ko nga sa kanya, Ma'am, hindi nanggagaling sa China lahat, mainly now. There's a geographical shift now. But instead, most of the drugs now are coming from Golden Triangle region. In fact, for this year alone, 24 incidents of drug seizures are coming from Golden Triangle. And from these 24, almost 1,000 kilos were seized, worth more than 6.2 billion pesos. So dun pa lang makikita mo na yung geographical shift of drug trafficking. Previously in China, it's not now in China, but more on the borders of Laos, Myanmar, and Thailand. And there are 2 thick books on my side, and sabi ko sa kanya, Ma'am, I'm giving you this list of high-value targets. More than 12,000 of that are high-value targets. Ganyan po kakapal yung libro. And the other book, this one, is the accomplishments of all law enforcement agencies on high-value targets. That's more than 8,700 arrests of high-value targets. But unfortunately, she refused to see the list of high-value targets and the briefing presentation of PDEA. For the reason that, sabi niya sa akin, alam mo, Director General, hindi ko pa kasi alam kung ano yung scope of authority ko. Hindi ko alam if I need to know that or not. So, yung meeting na yun, walang nangyari. So, hanggang sinundo na siya ng Dangerous Drugs Board for a meeting with them. But again, there's also a response from Malacañang with regards to my letter asking for the scope of authority. It says there that it's up to me as the co-chair of ICAD to give delineation on what is the scope of authority of the President. In short, parang kami-kami na lang mag-uusap sa ICAD to determine kung ano-anong, we'll just make an arrangement kung paano ang bibigyan ng scope of authority o anong magiging responsibility ng ating Vice President. At of course, it would be put into a resolution that we need to furnish Malacañang.
Sir, given what you said, do you believe, sir, she could have contributed or done more to law enforcement aspect if she wasn't removed only days after she was appointed as your co-chair?
Well, after the Mother ICAD meeting and the law enforcement meeting, nagpadala ang ating Vice President ng 2 report sa 2 meeting na yon. Yung report na yon, pinadala niya sa ating mahal na Presidente. At nakasaad doon kung ano yung mga nakita niyang dapat ayusin. Yung mga recommendations niya. For example, nakita niya yung baseline. There is no baseline of drug users and drug pushers. You would know na it started with 1.8 in 2015 or 16, and then itong 2017 or 18 na naging 4 million drug users. So parang walang clear na baseline doon. But as of now, the Dangerous Drugs Board is conducting a national survey to determine exactly on how many drug users and pushers, and hopefully it will come out in the first quarter of 2020.
Sir, kahit hindi na siya co-chair ng ICAD, what will you do to her recommendations?
Last Tuesday, we have a ICAD fellowship. I just hope na naimbitahan ko pa ang ating Vice President during our fellowship, Christmas fellowship. And during that time, I presented to the ICAD members kung ano yung mga recommendation ng ating Vice President. And sabi ko naman, if it would be beneficial to the ICAD, why not? Let's follow her recommendation. And I distributed the letters to all ICAD members, and I asked them to comply on the concerned agencies kung ano yung mga dapat i-comply doon.
Okay na, Joyce. Okay. Jonah, after Jonah, Ina.
Sir, just a quick follow-up on Joyce.
May idagtong lang pa ako. Sorry ha. The Vice President failed to meet the other 3 clusters. Yung sinabi ko sa kanya that she will meet, you need to meet the 4 clusters. Anong nangyari? She failed to meet the other 3 clusters when she started to meet other international counterparts like the US, the UNODC. Kaya siguro nangyari na may misinform siya. For example, yung issue about China, that drugs are coming from China. Nagkakaroon ng misinformation, hindi niya nakukuha lahat yung problema ng illegal drugs. Should she met the 4 ICAD clusters, magiging mas malaki yung kanyang scope of knowledge kung ano yung drug situation ng Pilipinas. And maybe after meeting the 4 clusters, sana kung meron man siyang mai-implement na program o strategy to strengthen the ICAD, sana nagawa sana yung ganon. Ang problema kasi parang hindi ko ba alam kung na-overwhelmed ang ating Vice President from a lot of invitations. She started going around, going to rehabilitation centers, going to barangays, without finishing or consulting the ICAD. So sana natapos niya lahat yung clusters na yon before going around, before meeting all other people. Sana natapos niya yung meeting ng clusters na yon. So yun lang ang tingin ko na hindi nagawa ng ating presidente yung time na yon. And hopefully sana na-meet niya yung buong clusters na yon to better understand the drug situation in our country. Yes, ma'am.
Chona.
Sir, quick follow-up of that. You said that PDEA is conducting a national survey on how many drug users are there.
It's not us, it's Dangerous Drugs Board.
So can you walk us through, sir, kung anong dynamics nung
I can
survey?
explain that it's being done by Dangerous Drugs Board. I think it's more scientific way of determining kung ano talaga yung number of users and pushers, and yung number of participant mas malaki. So hopefully I was informed by first quarter of 2020 lalabas yung survey na yan. But I cannot give you a detailed way on how they conducted the survey.
Hindi naman to, sir, yung parang one-on-one magsasurvey bawat community.
Parang ganon, household. Pupuntahan sila and then they will ask, there's a certain questionnaires to be answered, and there's a better way on doing that. I don't know exactly. Sabi ko nga, it's hard to ask, di ba? Kunwari, pupunta ka sa bahay. Ilan ho ba addict dito?
Yun nga,
Di ba?
addict ka
Ilan
ba?
ba ang pushers dito?
May aamin.
May aamin ba? Wala. Alam naman sabihin ng nanay, lahat ng anak ko pusher. Lahat ng anak ko user. Di bukas, ino-operatan na sila. Again, I cannot answer for that for Dangerous Drugs Board. Maybe the Dangerous Drugs Board can explain to you more in detail how they've done it.
Sir, other issue po. The International Criminal Court is about to conclude its preliminary in examination. Will the government, are you going to provide them the data that you have?
I'll answer for DG. The ICC is in its preliminary examination stage, and up to 2020, I think they would still finalize the preliminary examination before they can ask permission from the pretrial chamber if they can be authorized to conduct investigation. So where it is now, we can provide whatever data that we have because they can access it naman sa mga websites natin, and we always publish them. So in fact, in their preliminary examination report, they even said there that they've been getting data from government agencies, from NGOs, and from stakeholders who always send them reports from the Philippines. So I don't think there's any problem with that because they can always access government records.
Are there any formal communications from the ICC?
I don't think so. We don't know with the DFA, but as of this time, at this point, I don't think there is, especially that it's still at the preliminary examination stage. And I don't think the government, well, we will wait if and when the government would accede to consent to reply.
Thank you, Asik. Ina, after Ina, Arian.
For DG Aquino, sir, when did the surveying start to account for, to give us a better estimate of how many?
Ano po yan?
The surveying of the number of users and pushers. Kailan po nag-umpisa yun?
Within the year lang ay nag-umpisa yan.
Okay, so what was our basis, sir, for the initial estimates that we had? Yung 4 million na madalas pong binabanggit.
Yung nga, when I asked one time, when I asked one of the USEC of Dangerous Drugs Board, is 4 million accurate. Parang, di ba nagkaroon ng drug users na 4 million? And then, it came to a point then when our president, during one of the statement, his statement that drug users now is about 7 to 8 million. So parang gulong-gulo ako, ilan ba talaga ang drug users?
Yes, sir, saan nga nanggaling po yung 4 million to begin with? If there
Nagkaroon
was
ng ano yan parang it derived from the computed database on the number of surrenderers, number of total household visited, and the total number of household nationwide. So the methodology used is deriving the estimated number of drug users is the formula of ratio and proportion. So there's a formula, something like a formula on how did they do it to end up with a 4 million number of drug users.
Okay. Sir, on the Vice President, on Monday she's presenting her report. I was wondering, when you guys work together, lahat po ba ng information that was given her, you were aware of those?
Yes, I know.
Okay. So is there anything you think that she can present that hindi pa po nape-present sa public given na alam niyo po yung mga nakarating sa kanyang information? What, basically, anong expectations niyo dun sa presentation niyo on Monday?
Sa tingin ko yung presentation niya, yun yung mga, yung sinasabi niyang discoveries, yun yung sulat niya kay Presidente kung saan nakasaad doon yung mga recommendations niya to strengthen the ICAD. Kaya ngayon, kinonsolidate ko yung dalawang sulat na yon, which nakapi-furnished ako. And then I started giving these reports also to the all ICAD members last Tuesday nung nagkaroon kami ng fellowship. And I told them to comply to the recommendations of the Vice President. Sabi ko, hindi naman masama yung sinabi ng ating Vice President sa nakita niyang mga recommendations to strengthen our drug efforts. Kaya doon pa lang, sabi ko, sisingilin ko kayo by January. Lahat ng concerned agencies, gusto ko meron kayong sagot doon sa mga recommendations ng Vice President natin.
Okay. So apart from the expected presentation of recommendations, yung baka may umaasa na baka meron siyang reveal that's I don't know, state secrets or anything that's a real discovery that would surprise the people. Based on the information, as you mentioned, na alam mong nakarating sa kanya, meron po bang possibility na mangyari yun?
If there is, I urge her to open up. Hindi kailangan itago. Kung ano yung discoveries na nakita niya, whether it's good or bad for the administration, then go.
Thank you, sir.
Maraming salamat, Ina. We'd like to acknowledge the presence of PCOO Undersecretary Rocky Ignacio. Arian Joseph.
Hi, sir. Hello. Sir, just to clarify, may copy na po kayo ng report ni Vice President?
Wala pa po. Ina-assume ko lang na yung mga discoveries niya, yun yung mga recommendations o mga issues na nakikita niya during her 2 weeks as my co-chair dun sa ICAD. So, yun lang in-assume ko. Kasi mahaba yun dun sa letter niya kay Presidente. And from there nga, ibinigyan ko na lahat ng kopya ng mga ICAD members. So, in-assume ko lang na yun yung mga discoveries niya.
Pero wala pa po nabibigay na copy sa PDEA?
Wala pa po.
Okay po. Tapos, sir, as chair of ICAD po, how would you assess kasi sabi niyo po kanina may mga hindi siya na-meet na cluster. How would you assess her overall performance po with ICAD as your co-chair po?
Yun lang sinasabi ko na siguro missteps lang nangyari sa kanya na sana she should have met all the 4 clusters. Yun lang ang nagiging problema na sana na yung pinlan out niya kung ano bang gagawin ko para maintindihan ko muna. Sana inasikaso muna niya yung ICAD, which is a very, very important committee, so she could learn everything from there. So how would you understand everything if you are not meeting these people? And yet now you're meeting with other agencies, other foreign groups or what, na yung mismong drug situation sa mga bansa na yan, mas malaki pa problema nila kaysa sa atin.
But sir, generally, do you think, did she do well? Did she perform poorly? How would you assess it as chair of the committee, sir?
Naging okay naman yung performance niya during our time. Pero siyempre, hindi ko makuha yung talagang ma-rate siya. It's just 2 weeks. Paano mo ma-rate yung na gano'n? So,
Yes, sir.
She's not even, kaya nga minsan may data that prior to her, yung mga accomplishments sa grounds, prior dun sa assumption niya, during her assumption, and after assumption. Sabi ko, useless itong data na ito kasi she was not even involved doon sa grounds eh. Hindi siya na involved sa any operations. He did not give any directives or did not supervise our people on the ground. So useless yung sinasabi mong na yung time na wala siya, ito'y namatay. Ngayon nandiyan siya, ito'y namatay. So what's the importance of that data? Walang ano yan, walang importance yan.
Okay, sir. Sa PNP lang po kay Spokesperson. Sir, kayo po, on the police side po, ano pong comment nyo po doon sa i-release na report ni Vice President on Monday po?
Well, ano mang ipapahayag ng ating Vice President Leni Robredo sa ikabubuti at kagaganda pa nating kampanya laban sa illegal na droga ay welcome sa PNP at inaasahan natin na magagamit natin ito para lalo pang maging epektibo ang ating kampanya laban sa illegal na droga.
Salamat, Arian. Joseph.
Sir, with regard to the report of the Vice President, do you think there will be surprises ng mga things that she might have discovered? Because you said she didn't have access to the high-value target list, right? So what do you think will, aside from the recommendations, do you think there will be surprises?
Kahit may access siya sa high-value target, so palagi ko wala naman siya makikita doon eh. Kaya what's the use? Just like me, no, as the ICAD chair, I didn't need to know kung ano yon, kung sino yung mga nasa listahan na yon. What's important is that my people are complying with the targets every month, that they should commit a number of high-value targets to be arrested. Yun ang importante doon eh. But if I have a book of 12,000 high-value targets, do you think I will be more effective if I have this 12,000 list of high-value targets? Or the more important thing is you supervise your people to comply with the number of targets that we need to arrest on high-impact operations and on high-value targets. Kasi sa compliance namin ngayon, it's more than 8,000 already were arrested on high-value targets. More than 8,000 na. So we need more arrest on high-value targets, of course, because there are 12,000 more to be arrested on high-value targets. But at least malaki-laki na yung accomplish natin on their arrest.
Sir, clarification. The high-value target list contains 12,000 names.
Yeah.
You've arrested 8,000.
Yeah.
You have 4,000 more to go.
No. Kasi every now and then, hindi naman nahuli
nadadagdagan
namin
siya.
ito, nasa listahan eh.
Okay.
So, merong mga tao na wala sa listahan, pero they are high-value targets.
Wala sa listahan, but they are...
Noong 12,000, kunwari, may 12,000 yan, may isa tayong nahuli, pero yung tao na yun, wala sa listahan na high-value targets. We just discovered recently, for example, bago pa lang, na siya pala ay high-value targets. For example, isang parameter kasi ng high-value targets is when you seized, is it 50 grams? 50 grams, more than 50 grams of drugs, of shabu, for example. So, wala siya sa listahan, pero nakasismo siya isang tao ng 100 grams. Now, these people, this drug offender now becomes a high-value targets because you seize more than 50 grams.
All right. So, sir, just based on the 12,000, I'm trying to imagine that if you have a list of names and you would do intelligence work, wouldn't you find some connections with these people? In that sense, would you be able to establish the groups that they may be running? Because I'm trying to understand the structure of the drug industry based on the HVT.
That's right. Itong mga high-value targets natin, included dito yung mga local drug groups and international drug groups. Kasama-sama na to ng lahat ng based on our report, I think we have about 186 local drug groups in the Philippines.
And how about foreign?
Foreign, I don't have any list right now kung ilan na drug group, but ang pinakamalaki nating drug group ngayon is yung Dragon Wood Drug Group. Yung recent na nahuli natin, together with Bureau of Immigration, si Mr. Liang Yi Hong is a drug lord, a Chinese drug lord, that he's the one who facilitated the clandestine drug laboratory in Ibaan, Batangas, in Malabon, and in Tagaytay. So, siya yung pinaka-head, siya yung pinaka-top. He was arrested by Bureau of Immigration, and we coordinated with them para sa kanyang whole departure order. Luckily, tumimbre, because lalabas sana ito si Hong Liang Yi papuntang Istanbul. So, he is also known to be the right-handed of Dragon Wu. Dragon Wu is pinaka-drug lord ito ng China na nag-ooperate sa ating country. And his true name is Wu Pengcheng. And so far, 10 na ang na-aresto natin na members ng Dragon Wood Drug Group, international drug group.
Any other big groups, sir, aside from this one?
Yung
many-
Jakico drug group, yung I'm sorry, I cannot remember these Chinese names eh. Parang hirap-hirap
But
i-memorize.
ilan, sir, yung mga major drug groups?
Tignan nyo na lang yung mga seizures ng PNP at saka big seizures ng PNP at saka big seizures ng PDEA. And these are the international drug groups, and also to include the big seizures by Bureau of Customs.
With regard to maybe local executives, HVT, you mentioned meron dito data na arrested elected officials, no? Would you be able to tell us if in the HVT there are government officials who are involved in drugs that have yet to be arrested?
Yung mga local
Executives, sir.
executive, yes, of course, they are included there.
Would you be able to tell us the highest rank based on the HVT?
I'm sorry, I don't have the list eh. Pero may matataas yun, definitely. Maybe some congressman.
Kongs that are involved in drugs.
Yeah.
How many?
I don't know the exact number.
And when you say
some governors, some many of them are barangay chairmen, barangay leaders.
when you say involved, they're really running the business, no?
Some, yes, they are running the business. Other in cahoots of the business.
Sir, ano lang, last na lang. I'm trying to see the trend of the number of killings, no? So if we have the data from 2016, could you, maybe you can help a sec. Per year tally ng 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Because you just gave like 5,000, but I don't know if this is going to be a trend na pataas in killings or bababa. I'm just trying to see it.
Yes, PDEA, si Cha can provide kung if we want per year data, we can provide for 2016, 17, 18, and 19. We can give it. We have here 5,552, and we'd like to clarify that the one announced by the PNP before na 6,700 plus. During the harmonization workshop between the PNP and PDEA and other law enforcement agencies, they found out that 1,194 out of those are police operations. They are not anti-illegal drugs operations per se. When we say police operations, they are deaths that occurred. Halimbawa may checkpoint and then nagkasagupa and then biglang may nahanap na droga sa bulsa. Yung mga ganong pangyayari. Or pwedeng police patrol, pero hindi anti-illegal drug operations. Or pwedeng kidnapping, tapos may chase, nagkahabulan, may namatay, and then biglang may nahanap na droga sa mga sasakyan or sa mga bulsa sa mga namatay. So these are police operations per se, and they are not anti-illegal drugs operations. That's why the disparity, and that was announced by the PNP in July. So yun po yung bakit ganun yung numero.
Salamat daw, Sir Joseph. Follow up.
DG, yung pong sa recommendation ni Vice President, no, you're willing to admit na, or are you willing to concede na walang, one of those that you mentioned, parang walang baseline data. Iko-concede nyo ba yung point na yun na tama yun or that's wrong?
Tama yung discovery niya yan na walang scientific based data yung baseline data yung ating drug users, and that's the reason why the Dangerous Drugs Board are doing something about that.
So sir, we started a drug war without baseline.
We have 4 million. Alam niyo naman yun, di ba? Kaya lang hindi siya masyadong scientific. Kumbaga, hindi ganun ka-accurate. And that's the reason why the DDV is doing something to have a better and more accurate and more scientific way of getting that figure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joseph. DJ Aquino, Viber question lang po tungkol doon sa high value target na yun. Nagpapatanong lang. Nabanggit kasi kanina yung sa LGU, mga politiko. How about doon sa matataas opisyalis ng militar at saka pulis?
Kasama po yon yung uniform personnel natin sa military, sa police, even sa PDEA, meron kasama yan sa high-value targets. And the PNP are doing their own. Kaya nga, alam ng PNP, nasa kanila yung listahan na yan. Nagki-case build-up sila. Sabi ko nga, it's not easy to do the case build-up. It will take some time. And they're doing all their efforts also na ma-case build-up yung isang, for example, isang drug personality na police para eventually mahuli siya mga yan. In fact, tuloy-tuloy yung operations na ginagawa ng ating, IMEG? Yung IMEG natin. At nakikita nyo naman kung gaano rin ang kalaki ang accomplishment ng IMEG. Especially doon sa mga police na hindi gumagawa ng tama. At ganoon din sa ating law enforcement agencies.
Mm-hmm. Sir, iba ba yung classification ng protector o kasama na sila sa high value target?
Pag sinabing high value targets, pag sinabi mo yung uniform personnel ka pa lang, high-value target ka na. If you're a foreigner, high-value target ka na kagad. If you're a member of a terrorist group, might be BIFF, Abu Sayyaf group, or the NPA, high-value target ka na kagad. If you're a celebrity, high-value target ka na kagad. It doesn't mean kung maliit man o malaki yung nakukuha sa'yo, just as long na nandun ka sa category na yun, you are considered high-value targets.
Maraming salamat, DJ. Follow up, Ate Rose.
Hi, sir. Follow-up lang po. Sir, yung mga binanggit nyong big drug groups, yung katulad nung Dragon Wu, kasaka yung iba pang mga malalaking grupo, meron po kayong intelligence information kung paano sila nakapasok dito sa bansa, sino yung posibleng mga contacts nila sa gobyerno or sa uniform personnel?
Yes, kaya nga sinasabi ko, we cannot address the problem by ourselves. We need the cooperation of our international counterparts. Sila yung nagbibigay ng information, yung mga international counterparts natin. For example, yung Dragon Wu Group is in cooperation with the Narcotics Board of China. We are doing our cooperation with them to finally neutralize and to arrest all the members of this Dragon Wu Group. In fact, only yesterday we have a fellowship with our international counterparts. So lahat ng ating mga members na mga international counterparts natin nandoon, including the local counterparts. And it's very, very important to have a partnership and cooperation with them. In fact, yung recently, naging partner na natin yung Mexico at saka Colombia in giving us information. Kahapon nandun yung isang member, yung third secretary ng Colombia. And yung nga sinasabi ko na I gave a report to him na lumabas na finally yung drug profiling ng cocaine. Humingi kami ng tulong 3 months ago sa USDA to conduct profiling on cocaine that was seized in the eastern part of our country. And I think there are about 30 or 25 samples of those. Out of the 20 samples that we have, 19 is traditionally came from Colombia, yung cocaine na ito. Only one came from Peru. So tama po yung assessment ko that the cocaine are coming from either Colombia or Peru. So again, these discoveries of cocaine is not intended locally. It's not being consumed by our country, but it is for the consumption of other countries such as Australia, Japan, China, and other cocaine-consuming countries. So, ang the best theory para once and for all matapos to it, this is being done in a ship-side smuggling.
So transshipment point na po yung Pilipinas
we are being
ng
used as a,
cocaine.
yes, that's right. We are being used as a transshipment point. Binabagsak ito sa malalaking barko and then kinukuha ng mas maliliit na mga vessels. Kaya lang because of ocean currents and other problems, in spite na meron silang GPS or homing device, they failed to get all this floating cocaine. So makikita natin na marami tayong nadidiscover. But this should have been delivered to other areas or other countries and not to us.
So may identified po kayong contacts nila dito sa Pilipinas, like sa gobyerno or kahit negosyante, or paano sila nakakapag-operate dito nang wala silang contact dito sa local?
Definitely meron silang mga contacts dito that we are now conducting investigation because maraming mga nakikita tayong mga Chinese looking persons na nagkakandak ng diving dyan sa mga areas na yan kung saan yung mga discoveries ng cocaine, pero hindi naman diving site. So this is happening mostly in region 5 and regions Caraga.
So nagiging front nila yung diving?
Yeah,
Yung
kunwari magdadive
yung
sila
tourism,
or
sir,
what.
parang yung tourism nagiging front na ngayon ng ano.
No, hindi naman. Siyempre, it will be a cover-up na kunwari nagda-dive sila, but actually, maybe they are trying to search other cocaine in that particular waters. No? So, we are asking, again, the help ng ating Coast Guard, ng ating Navy, and ang Maritime Police to help us, of course, to guard our vast coastlines. Again, during my talk with other international countries, we have the same problem in Colombia, in Mexico, in all other Asian countries. We have the same problem. Na they could easily smuggle drugs using our coastlines. In spite that they have the most modern technology on using their vessels, they have the manpower, they have the capability and anything, and yet talagang nahihirapan din silang gwardiyahan yung coastline nila. So we have practically the same problem here in our country.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat, Ate Rose. MPC, last 2 questions. Okay sa inyo. Francis Wakefield, Jonah, last question. Joseph, please, Mike.
Hi, sir. Morning po, sir. Sir, tanong ko lang, on previous weeks, I think October, nagkaroon lang parang, di ba, mga parang negative reports about na may alitan ang PNP at ang PDEA, yung height ng kay drag queen, ganon. In relation to that, sir, kamusta naman ang ang ano ng PNP at ano, ang relationship? Kasi previously, di ba, may mga negative reports about na ano, yung
Well, nais po nating pabulaanan yung mga ganong balita na mayroong di umano ay hidwaan ng PNP at ng PDEA. Ang katotohanan ay napakalakas po ng ating ugnayan ng dalawang ahensyang ito at patuloy ang ating kampanya laban sa illegal, pinaigting na kampanya laban sa illegal na droga. At maging yung ating mga operational procedures ay patuloy nating binabalangkas at nire-review natin para lalo pa nating mapaganda, mapaayos ang ating mga procedures sa field. Lalong-lalo na yung coordination, no? Lalo na yung mga by-bus operation na talagang nangangailangan na ng immediate action. So meron tayong mga nakalatag na ng mga procedures at alam na ng mga operatiba natin ang kanilang gagawin. So wala po dapat ikabahala ang ating publiko na sa mga kumakalat na fake news lamang.
Francis? Kay DG?
Ibang copy-paste na lang kung ano yung sinabi. No, actually, hindi mo naman minsan maiiwasan yung konting banggaan ng PNP at saka PDEA, especially on operational matters, no? Kasi we have the same drive, no, to conduct operations. Katulad noon nung nagkaroon ng kami ng konting pagkakaintindihan ni General Albayalde, talagang siya yung top PNP, ako yung top PDEA, nagbabanggaan kami. So, ang nangyayari, ang ginagawa ko, ay see to it na yung mga tauhan niya sa baba, kinakausap ko katulad ni General Eleazar. Lagi kami nag-uusap during that time when he was still with the NCR. Kinakausap ko siya tungkol doon kay drag queen, kung paano namin mahuhuli. In fact, napailan na namin ng kaso si drag queen now for the case of murder. Kasi nga, pag hinuli mo si drag queen sa ibang bansa, lahat ng kaso niya sa Pilipinas bailable eh. Parang istapa lang yata ang kaso or bouncing check law or something like that. So, sayang lang man ang effort natin kung yun lang yung ipapakita natin. So, we trying to find a way, especially the PNP and the PDEA, to file a case of murder against the drag queen. So, normal lang yun sa ibang ahensya. Hindi natin masasabi na, sometimes, nandun yung competition that the PNP would like to operate on this, would like also to operate on this. I think that's normal for me, because we have yung drive namin pare-parehong mataas. Pero after that, wala naman kami talagang, kumbaga, nagtatanim ng sama ng loob eh. Wala yon. In fact, sabi ko nga, I've been there for 36 years sa Philippine National Police. So, hindi ko kailangan na siraan, hindi ko kailangan na masamain ang Philippine National Police dahil diyan ako nanggaling.
Last, Francis.
Nabanggit niyo yung si former PNP Chief Albayalde. Wala pa tayong currently na permanent PNP Chief. Sir, kayo ba nakapagbigay kayo ng input kay Presidente kasi as a former police officer general, nakapagbigay ba ng input kung sino ang possibly na mapipili niya na next PNP Chief? Considering na may relationship nga ang PNP at ang PDEA in terms sa drug war. At because nangyari nga kay Chief PNP before, di ba, kay General Albayalde. Comment lang,
Well,
sir.
ayaw ko naman pangunahan ng ating presidente kung anong siya kasi ang may discretion kung sinong i-appoint niya next Chief PNP, no? Pero ang sa tingin ko, mas inclined piliin ng presidente yung nakasama niya. At siyempre, pag once na nakasama niya itong isang officer na ito, nandun yung tiwala, nandun yung trust, nandun yung alam niya, yung working habits ng official na ito. So, pag once nakilala ka ng presidente, most likely, baka mas malaki ang chance na ikaw ang magpiliin bilang Chief PNP.
Salamat, Francis. Last question from Ms. Chonayu.
Sir, quick lang to. Are there active police generals who are into drugs?
Well, sa ngayon, wala pong sinumang mga nahineral na aktibo na involved sa illegal drugs. Ang pinakamataas na patuloy natin na minomonitor ay isang police major lamang at dalawa ay police lieutenant. 11 ang mga non-commissioned officers na pinaghinalaan natin in the past na sangkot sa drug recycling. Subalit hindi naman natin nakikitaan ngayon ng kanilang involvement. Maaaring naglaylo or talagang tumigil na. Pero nananatili ang ating monitoring at naghihintay lamang tayo ng pagkakataon na mahuli natin sila sa akto at may ebidensya na masasamsam para magamit nating sa pagsasampa ng kaso laban sa kanila. So, yun po ang estado ng ating mga minomonitor ng mga active police officers. Wala nang mas nakakaigit pa na mga matataas na ranggo.
Thank you, sir. Sir, sa PDEA, how high yung rank na involved sa drugs?
Di ba yung deputy ko na involved? Yung deputy ko dati na involved. Sa ngayon, we're still monitoring. Every now and then we are conducting our internal cleansing sa PDEA. In fact, twice a year nagkakandak kami ng drug testing. So the last time we have a drug test is last August. So January 2019 and August 2019 nagkandak kami ng drug test. May nag-positive ba? Wala nag-positive.
Thank you, sir.
Maraming salamat, MPC. Maraming salamat, General Banac. Maraming salamat, ASEC Marie, DG Aaron Aquino, at Sir Derek Carayon. Nice to see you again, sir. Balik tayo sa Radyo Pilipinas, PTV4.